movie channel. Thank you.
You know, speaking of Linda Blair, who stars in Savage Streets tonight on Drive-In Theater, I kind of like fat girls. You know, I know this girl named Wanda Bodine who's dumb as a box of rocks, but I've been going with her several years now. And she came in the other day and she told me that she had joined the local chapter of Overeaters Anonymous. And I was very understanding about it. I said, "You mean Lard Unlimited? The circus tents with feet that meet in the back room of the Burger King?" And she told me, "There's a reason that we meet there, Joe Bob. It's part of our acceptance of our illness." And I said something like, "It's really the home of the Whopper now, isn't it?" And then after I got back from the emergency room, Wanda and I continued our discussion, and she explained that when she was in college that she learned that you were supposed to eat from the 4 major food groups at every meal. But what she thought was you were supposed to eat every food in every food group at every meal. You know, they need to make that more clear in the textbooks. Anyhow, Wanda was porking up like a Holstein. One night she ate 347 bags of cheese-flavored Doritos after dinner, but she had no idea what she looked like to herself in her own self-image. And so you know what it took to bring her to her senses? It was when the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department started talking about a new law to create a season for Wanda Bodine hunting. It was just going to be 2 days a year, small caliber rifles and crossbows. You know, she could have holed up in the trailer house that whole time, but she was receiving these cash offers to visit game preserves, and that was humiliating. You know, that was what it took for Wanda to finally see herself for what she was, a 12-ton farm animal. And she knew she had to get help. And this story has a happy ending, though, because then Wanda lost 347 pounds. The fat folds were disgusting, but she did lose the weight. And the reason I'm telling this story, to get to the point now, is that Linda Blair is going to surprise you in this movie we got coming up. She is a porker, bless her little heart, but this was the movie that turned little Linda's life around, too. You'll know what happened when you see the Linda Blair in the bathtub scene. You see, Linda Blair had to look at that scene, too. And so by the time of her next movie, she'd lopped off 30, 40 pounds. And I'll tell you more about that in a minute when we get to the movie. But first, it's time for Joe Bob's Drive-In News. Well, Isaac Hayes is back. He's got a new flick called Mace. It also stars Ed Marinero, story about a cop trying to find out who's killing all the topless dancers. Now, it sounds a little bit like Strip to Kill. They might have ripped that one off, which we've got Strip to Kill on the channel now and then. It's one of my favorites. Next, we got Ray Walston, the favorite Martian guy. He's starring in Saturday the 14th Strikes Back. Now, most of you probably don't even remember the original Saturday the 14th, which was supposed to be a takeoff on Friday the 13th, but it had Richard Benjamin and Paula Prentice in it. And now, is this just me, or have those people never been funny ever in their lives in any movie? But that movie made about $3, and now the great drive-in producer, Julie Corman, is making a sequel to it, and of course you can see why she's doing it when you look at the cast, Ray Walston and Avery Schreiber. And finally, best drive-in title of the entire month, The Newlydeads. It's a new movie about guests at a honeymoon resort who die one by one when the ghost of an old resident returns. Actually sounds a little like the Texas Honeymoon Massacre, if any of you remember that one, and you probably don't. But that's enough drive-in news. We got the original green vomit girl waiting in the wings here. Linda Blair turns Bronson on us when her little sister gets gang raped and her best friend gets thrown off a freeway 2 days before her wedding. And after all the bridesmaids' dresses have already been fitted, too. A very intense movie. Parts of it are kind of hard to watch. From 1983, Savage Streets, I give it a good solid 3 stars, and after it's all over, we'll visit just a little bit more. Francine's grave, and they tell her how they harpooned and set fire to all the hoods. And then Linda says, "At least she knows that we made things right." And the other girls talk like, "Well, no, you really are the one that made things right. You did all the work. We didn't hardly do nothing." Like they were decorating the gym for the prom, and Linda did the best job. Fine movie about high school in the 1980s. All right, we got a letter here from Beak Bergeron of Carrollton, Texas, who says, "Dear Joe Bob, have you ever thought of starting your own religion and calling it the Disciples of Joe Bob? Yours truly, Beak Bergeron, Carrollton." And their answer is, yes, Beak, I have, but only if you guys out there will find me a virgin to be my mother first. I'm only kidding about that. I'm a good Baptist boy. It's the Catholics that want a virgin all the time. All right, if you'd like to be a disciple of Joe Bob, or at least get my newsletter, or maybe talk to me about some of the crapola that we have here on Drive-In Theater, write to the Movie Channel mailbox, P.O. Box 1264, Radio City Station, New York, New York, 10101. And that's really all I got to say this month. Joe Bob Briggs reminding you that the drive-in will never die.